Tonight on Cronkite News, Arizona welcomed NASCAR to the Valley yesterday, and we'll recap Sunday's thrilling race.
Plus, a sport that has been rapidly growing in recent years, see how Gilbert has embraced pickleball.
And Arizona Democrats and community leaders are urging voters to cast their vote for a pro-ceasefire candidate instead of Joe Biden in the presidential preference election. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Sammy Miller.
And I'm Ethan Tuttle. Thank you for joining us.
Yesterday, NASCAR came to town for the Shriners Children's 500.
That's right, Sammy. High-octane racing was back in the Valley as NASCAR returned to Phoenix Raceway on Sunday. While many drivers tried to tame the 1-mile oval, it was Christopher Bell who walked away with the trophy. Our own Sam Valenti has more on the race.
In the Shriners Children's 500 on Sunday, it was Christopher Bell who rode into Phoenix Raceway's victory lane. Bell notched his 7th career NASCAR Cup Series victory and his first win in the desert. The Norman, Oklahoma native started feeling good about his chances once he got into 3rd place.
I knew the 19 didn't have enough gas to finish, and the 54 was on right side tires, so I knew that I was in pretty good shape at that point.
Bell's crew chief Adam Stevens had high praise for his driving and communication during the race.
He just did such a good job getting all the speed out of the car and giving us good feedback to make changes. And the race played out pretty straightforward, and the best car won.
Another happy camper was team owner Joe Gibbs, who was impressed by the results with the new short track package.
Everybody knows how important Phoenix is. And so I think there was a great effort. There was a lot of new to it, the new package and all that. And I couldn't be happier with the way today went.
While Bell and his team were proud of the victory, he made it clear that he has higher aspirations.
We don't want to be a 2-win, 1 or 2 win a year team. We want to be be a championship contender year after year, and multiple race wins year after year.
Of course, this won't be the last time NASCAR comes here to the Valley in 2024, as for the 5th straight year, NASCAR Championship Weekend will take place right here at Phoenix Raceway in November. In Avondale, Sam Valenti, Cronkite News.
An interesting note about Christopher Bell is that each of his 7 NASCAR Cup Series wins have taken place at 7 different tracks. Maybe eventually he will have a victory at each Cup Series track by the time his career is done. And it's time for the madness to begin, with the much anticipated conference tournaments heating up. The Arizona Wildcats finish as the Pac-12 regular season champions and now enter the conference tournament as the #1 seed. The Wildcats earned a bye and will either be facing USC or Washington in the quarterfinals. The Trojans are finally healthy and shut down the Wildcats offense on Saturday, beating Arizona, while Washington is fresh off a win over 2nd-seeded Washington State. Both of these teams have had their ups and downs this season, but they don't call it March Madness for nothing. Ethan, how about ASU's chances?
In Tempe, the story takes a turn though, Sammy, and for a Sun Devil team that had more lows than highs this season, it's going to take a lot to turn the ship around, especially considering the team had its worst regular season since the 2015-16 season. It's highly unlikely the Sun Devils can run the table and win their first conference title. But hey, what about the first round? Well, ASU tips off against Utah at 8:30 Arizona time on March 13th. The Sun Devils have already beaten the Utes twice this season, but with Utah rebounding at such an efficient rate and due for a win, it'll be hard for ASU to keep up. And hey, it's important to keep in mind that ASU guard Jose Perez quit the team. The news came ahead of the team's final conference game against UCLA and will limit the Sun Devil offense, as Perez was just behind guard Frankie Collins in scoring, averaging 13.5 points per game. Hurley recently announced Perez's plans to further his career overseas.
While the Power Conference teams are getting set for their conference tournaments, sometimes in March, the mid-majors steal the show. Our Riley Swenson has more on the local mid-major who is ready for March.
Over the weekend, the GCU men's basketball team broke a new barrier by winning their first outright regular season WAC conference championship in program history. The Lopes had already clinched a share of the WAC, which they did back in 2021. But this past Saturday, their win over Cal Baptist gave them sole possession of the title. Most importantly, the championship gives them the #1 seed in the conference tournament, which tips off on Wednesday with the winner earning an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Last season, GCU won the WAC tournament as a 5 seed, but the previous 4 tournaments before that were all won by the #1 ranked team. So if history tells us anything, the outlook is positive for the Lopes to make the big dance in back-to-back seasons for the first time ever.
This past weekend, the Arizona State Sun Devils brought home several awards across different teams. The men's swim team, men's track and field, and the wrestling program all decorated their trophy case. Men's swim and dive are now your back-to-back Pac-12 champions. They broke 11 school records and 3 NCAA records in their dominant victory. The men's 4x4 relay team won the NCAA indoor title by setting the school record and the world-leading indoor record of 3 minutes, 2 seconds, and 35 milliseconds. Finally, the wrestling team won the Pac-12 championship as a few Sun Devils became 4-time conference champs. And moving to the NBA, the Suns were awarded the honor to host an upcoming NBA All-Star game, Ethan.
Yeah, the stars will shine here in the Valley as the Phoenix Suns are set to host the NBA All-Star Weekend in 2027. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, was in person at Footprint Center to make the official announcement. This is the 4th time that Phoenix will host the NBA All-Star Game and the first time since 2009. This new announcement comes after Phoenix was named All-Star host for the WNBA, 2 major events under the Suns and Mercury's new owner, Matt Ishbia.
The Suns, the Mercury, it's not my team, it's our team, and it's the city's. And how do we make it what a fan would want? And a fan would love to see the best players in the world come. For the women, coming this year, and for the men, in a couple years. And so it was a big priority. I think it makes a huge impact in the community.
Matt, as you all know, has made his mark on this community quickly. You know, I think it's been almost exactly a year, essentially, since he became the governor of this team. And one of the first things he said to me was, how soon can we get All-Star back here? So thank you very much.
Pickleball courts have been popping up at a rapid rate all over the Valley since 2020. One of the reasons for the sport's popularity is the fact that it cuts across several demographics. Cronkite News reporter Grant Levesque has more on the sport for all ages.
The distinguishing element that pickleball has over other sports is the diverse age gap between the participating players. Local pickleball courts have helped portray this diverse environment, but very few have had the reputation that Gilbert Regional Park has in Arizona. No need to worry about beginning the pickleball journey late, as many players soon discover the sport on their own time.
Yeah, I've been playing pickleball for like 3 months, and like what keeps me going is just like it's just fun, and it's good like exercise for the most part, and I just want to be the best player I can be.
Being the second largest pickleball court location in the state of Arizona, it's not hard to tell that Gilbert Regional Park is one of the leading reasons why pickleball continuously grows in the Grand Canyon state.
Young and old, fast and slow, all players have a respected role here.
So when a pro tournament is going on, we also have an amateur tournament going on at the same time. So a lot of the people at the local pickleball places will come and play our amateur tournaments, and then when they're done, they'll go and watch the pros.
The younger generation has been keen on catching up to the older, more experienced pickleball community. In 2024, it is not uncommon to see young adults with an experienced pickleball mindset and years of hard work behind their paddle. Former golfer Rio Newcomb got introduced to pickleball as a teenager and still enjoys the addictive game.
I mean, I started just by playing with my dad one time, coming over, like seeing people all the time here. Just tried it once and then kind of got hooked. Now I'm 2 years just pretty much only playing the sport, so it's addicting, it's fun.
With amazing facilities like Gilbert Regional Park, the pickleball community will continue to welcome athletes of all ages, unlike any other sport, promoting a healthy lifestyle to all that play. In Gilbert, Grant Levesque, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, John Schreiber is on his 3rd team in his MLB career.
Learn more about how this veteran pitcher is making his first trip to the Cactus League.
And it's been a beautiful few days around the Valley, but that could change. Your forecast is coming up.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized. Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Turning to the MLB, the Diamondbacks are in the middle of spring training, which marks the start of pitcher Brandon Pfaadt's second season as a Snake.
After solidifying himself as the Diamondbacks' third reliable starting pitcher in their postseason run, Pfaadt is looking to carry the success he had late last season into 2024. Pfaadt went into 2023 as the Diamondbacks' #1 pitching prospect and ranked 59th overall in all of baseball. He was called up in May of last season and made his debut against the team he faced again in the World Series, the Texas Rangers. After being sent down to AAA twice, Pfaadt found his stride in his third call-up and carried it into postseason, boasting a 3.27 ERA. A rising star for the Diamondbacks, Pfaadt turns to this season to become a reliable option for the reigning NL champs.
It's a little different, knowing you're more settled into a spot. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to take every day and keep getting better. Personally, it gave me a little boost of confidence, and I think for the whole team, we walked in here day one ready to go and ready to do it again.
Pfaadt pitched on Sunday in a loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's expected to make a few more spring training starts before the Diamondbacks' home opener against the Rockies, March 28th. And keeping with the Cactus League, players for the Royals are experiencing first ever spring training in the Valley. Now, he used to play for the Tigers and Red Sox, so he only trained in Florida. Our Jack Bartlett has more from Surprise on the Royals veteran reliever.
In February, right-handed pitcher John Schreiber arrived in Surprise, Arizona for Royals spring training after being traded from the Boston Red Sox. It marks the first time in his career the 29-year-old is in Arizona for spring training.
It's been really nice. The weather's been perfect since being down here. Travel's pretty easy, not too much traffic. But yeah, I'm loving it down here so far.
Fresh from the Grapefruit League in Florida, Schreiber is enjoying the change of scenery and weather. He says his teammates have made this adjustment period easier by being welcoming, and he is reunited with his former Red Sox teammate, pitcher Josh Taylor.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a guy that's willing to take the ball anytime, and he'll go out there and pitch with everything he's got. So I think he's a good addition to the bullpen.
The veteran bullpen arm is just the most recent of several offseason moves made by the Royals front office. They are confident that he raises the trajectory of the 2024 season for the franchise.
It's very exciting. I mean, I've seen John quite a bit when he was with Boston. He's pitched in high leverage. He's a competitor. He's a bulldog, those kinds of things. His stuff really plays. I think it's just adding another quality major league pitcher to our bullpen and raising our expectations.
What was supposed to be a rebuild period for the Royals changed into a more aggressive approach to winning by signing several big names to the squad this offseason. Schreiber not only adds to that excitement, but also adds an element of talent and leadership to the bullpen, which has the Royals striving for a divisional title and more. And Surprise, Jack Bartlett, Cronkite News.
Schreiber is expected to be a key member of the Royal bullpen rotation for this upcoming season. And it was a beautiful weekend to go out and watch a baseball game, Ethan, but that might change.
Yeah, our own Alana Hambro joins us now with more on what we could expect over the next few days.
Thank you, guys. If I'm gonna be honest, with yesterday's Tempe Festival of the Arts and last night's Oscars, we are really starting off the week on such a great note. That said, we're gonna take a look at tonight's evening temperatures. So we see it does hit 77 degrees at around rush hour and then continue to dip off a little bit throughout the rest of the evening to hit 70 degrees at 10 p.m. Those warmer temps are quite exciting, but we're not gonna get to those yet, and we're gonna take a look at our lows. So I love this module because it really shows us all of the temps throughout the state ranging. We can see here the Grand Canyon hits 29 degrees and Flagstaff is at 31 degrees, and Phoenix, we do see a little bit of those lows become a little higher with 56 degrees and even 55 in Yuma. Those warm temps do come back through. We can see in the south, it really hits that peak right here in the center in Phoenix and Gila Bend. We hit 80 degrees, even with 79 degrees in Yuma. Our month of March has started off quite warm, and we can see that here. Tuesday, we hit that 70-degree temp. Wednesday, we stick to those 80s. However, it does dip off a bit. Thursday into the weekend with 67 degrees, all the way to Saturday with 70 degrees, and even jumping a little bit higher, Sunday, 78 degrees. Monday and Tuesday, we do lift back up into those 82-degree temps, even 84 to start next week, which is quite exciting. If you're planning on going to some spring training on Wednesday, just be aware and hold on to those baseball caps, as there has been reported 24-mile-an-hour winds. However, wow, what a great week we are going to have with bringing in some St. Patrick's Day. It is looking pretty amazing with some clear skies and some sun. From the Cronkite Weather Center, Alana Hambro.
Thank you, Alana. I'm Denson Cortez with a preview of a look at news from across Arizona. After the break, Senate and House Republicans are finalizing remaining border bills to send to Governor Hobbs. Find out what updates were discussed over securing Arizona's border and other bills that are making its way through the legislature.
Is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized, individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
At Cronkite News, learn to work behind the camera for studio production. Our students spend time learning the ins and outs of all that it takes to run a newscast. From setting up the studio to building exciting graphics, studio production provides a job for everyone. Whether it be running audio, technical directing, or directing the newscast, students can experience the action behind the scenes. Join our team today.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Denson Cortez with a look at news from across Arizona. A group of Arizona Democrats are calling on voters to cast a vote for a candidate other than President Joe Biden in next week's presidential preference election. Reporter Lauren Bly tells us what they want voters to support another Democrat.
They're saying it's a call to action for humanitarian support in Gaza. They hope their efforts are heard all the way at the White House.
Ceasefire now is the message that a group of activists wants the Biden administration to hear. Today, they held a press conference to ask Arizona registered Democrats to cast a vote for Marianne Williamson in the upcoming presidential preference election. Here in Arizona, an uncommitted or write-in option is not available on the ballot. Therefore, organizers of the campaign say marking Williamson is their best option.
Our point is that we must use our ballot to send a message clear on election night, to concentrate our votes for one pro-ceasefire candidate, we can do that. And Marianne Williamson is the most prominent pro-ceasefire candidate who has spoken out for peace and for justice in Palestine and Israel.
James Weishart, supporter of the campaign, says this initiative feels like a last resort to get the attention of President Joe Biden.
They haven't been hearing us on the streets, our voices in our letters and our emails and our phone calls to their offices that have been inundated since October. We're going to say, okay, we're going to go after what you care about most, and it's your position in office.
Others, like former Arizona state lawmaker and Democratic political analyst Chris Hurstum, says that this movement to attract write-in votes may not be the best idea.
But voting against Biden in the Democratic presidential preferential primary is not effective. I don't support that, and I don't want to do anything that helps Donald Trump.
The protest vote is unlikely to have a huge impact in the primary election, and Biden is expected to be the Democratic nominee.
The ceasefire protest is not new. Just last week, over 101,000 Michigan residents casted uncommitted ballots in the presidential preference election, counting for around 13% of the vote. And in Minnesota, 19% of their primary votes went to the uncommitted category. In the newsroom, Lauren Bly, Cronkite News.
Thank you for that, Lauren. A Maricopa judge has dismissed a lawsuit filed by Superintendent Tom Horn. The lawsuit argued that the dual language model violated Proposition 203, a measure that requires students to be taught in only English. Horn sued a handful of school districts that he claims violated the proposition, along with Katie Hobbs and Attorney General Chris Mace. Court Judge Catherine Cooper ruled that Horn lacked the statutory authority and legal standing to file the lawsuit. Cooper also ruled that districts are required to use language immersion models that are approved by the Board of Education. And Arizona ranks as one of the least affordable states in the country when it comes to buying a home. That's according to a study by Best Brokers, which finds Arizona ranks 9th in affordability, based on data from 2023. The study also says the median price of a home in Arizona is just over $428,000. Hawaii ranks as the least affordable state, followed by California, while North Dakota comes in as the most affordable state in the country. Senate and House Republicans organized a press conference today to discuss securing Arizona's border and updates on current bills. Senate President Warren Peterson and others gave updates on recent bills that have been vetoed by Governor Katie Hobbs, such as SB 1231, which would make border crossings a state crime, and other bills that will make their way through the legislature.
As Republicans, we wholly welcome legal immigration, and we understand all of the benefits that come with legal immigration. What we're talking about here is the illegal act. We are talking about broken laws.
But Republicans aren't giving up on that bill, and in fact, a mirror bill is making its way through the House under House Bill 2821.
Governor Hobbs' veto pen leaves the state of Arizona with no ability to protect its citizens against the invasion at our southern border.
Sheriff Mark Lamb, who's running for U.S. Senate this November, praised Republicans for their attempts to help out law enforcement regarding immigration.
The legislative branch is now saying, hey, here's some bills that address the concerns of the sheriffs and law enforcement, and now it's up to you, the governor, to say, yep, we're going to sign these bills into action.
Republicans said more immigration bills dealing with everything from child trafficking to punishment for fentanyl dealers are making their way through the legislative process for the governor to act on. Republicans did not disclose a confirmed time frame of when these bills will be seen, but announced that the series of bills are on their way. That's it for your news headlines. I'm Denson Cortez. Now back to you.
Thanks, Denson. Millions tuned in to see the Oscars last night.
Sammy, did you know that someone from right here in the Valley took home one of the biggest awards? After the break, the Arizona native that walked the red carpet and also made the whole state very proud by taking home the hardware.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage,
against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to see,
and entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Now a big congrats to the Valley native who just won an Oscar.
We're talking about Emma Stone, who won Best Actress for her role in Poor Things. Stone is from Scottsdale and briefly attended Xavier College Prep. She also appeared on stage many times at the Valley Youth Theater in Phoenix before leaving for Los Angeles. This is her second win for Best Actress after winning in 2017 for La La Land.
That's it for Cronkite News. Thanks for joining us.